Let me make sure this is stable. Let me make sure this is stable. I forgot to do something. Mm. Hey, y'all, let me know if this is stable because it might not be. I hope it's stable. Hey, y'all. Hey, hey, y'all. It's your friend, Dr. Alexis, coming in from Dallas, Texas. Let me know if this is stable because it might not be. And I forgot to plug my computer in to the I forgot to plug my computer in to the box. So hopefully it's stable because I'm running off of my Wi-Fi right now, which I really do not like doing, but I'm doing it anyway. Oh gosh. I feel like it's not going to be stable because I see this little thing right here. It's doing okay. Ugh, I never stream like this. I never stream like this. Just keep me posted, you guys. If not, then I will come back in. I'll plug it back. Is it kind of, I could leave for a couple of seconds and go plug it all the way in there. That's why it's a good thing to have a husband. He could go do it, but he's gone right now. Hey, y'all. It's freezing. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come right back in. I'm going to come. That's so horrible. Just hold on. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to oh, don't mute the mic. uh all right. Start camera. Hey, y'all. Hey, let me know where you're coming in from. Earring fell out and everything. I didn't want to start back the stream. The life of a streamer. My goodness. Hey, y'all. Let me know where you're coming in from. Hey, it's your friend, Dr. Alexis, coming in from Dallas, Texas. Hey, y'all. Hey, how are you? I'm back in effect. Hey, happy Friday to you. Hey, everybody. Let me tell YouTube that I'm on. I love my YouTube family. They are so cool. I love you guys too, wherever you're coming in from. But YouTube, let me tell you, they really be on it. So let me just go in the community and let them know that I'm on live. All right, live now. How are you guys doing this Friday? What's going on? What are you guys doing? Are you going to hang out with your family today? What's up? Hey, Alabama. Hey, Fort Worth. Hey, everybody. Hey, Vancouver. Hey, Detroit. Hey, everybody. Hey, West Palm Beach. Hey there. Kayla, North Carolina. Hey there. Houston. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm just coming in to do some conversating with you before the holiday hits. And I just had this on my mind. So I wanted to come in and just have a conversation with you guys, just kind of a quick talk. Look, I thought that was something. It's a gray hair. Let me cover that. Anyway, all right. Hey, everybody. Hey. So, she said, "Child, we already here." All right. So, you guys, you already know. I'm just gonna like have a talk with y'all about entrepreneurship, business, kind of being in the position that many of us are in as ministers and also entrepreneurs, and really trying to balance it and not to have like self-fulfilling prophecy, or like kind of cause your own business to not thrive because you're struggling with the ministry and you're struggling also with the business. And it's just this whole dichotomy that I was working with, just thinking about. And so I was like, let me just come live and have this conversation live, because many of you come to me with these same issues. Many of you are very creative. You are, you always have ideas, you're always thinking of something, but you're having problems launching the idea. You're having problems launching what it is that you feel the Lord gave to you. And if you launched it, you kind of put it out for 2 seconds and then you take it back because you're like, oh, it'll never do well. And with your own mouth, you kind of curse the vision that the Lord has given you. And I just want to come on to say, listen, it is okay to have these multi dimensions of yourself. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God created you. And so to kind of have these multiple just ideas and things that you want to do, old schools will say, an old school, kind of the old school leaders kind of say, well, you can't be both. Think about what it is that you want to do. If you're going to be a preacher, right? But like the interesting thing is that, I'm a PhD. I'm an entrepreneur. And but first, of course, I am a prophetic voice. I speak the word of the Lord. I do all of those things. And really just it's hard to contain it in one place. There's multiple things that many of us do. And it's like, okay, so what next, God? And I think that a lot of us are at that, in that place, like, what next, God? What is it exactly that you want me to do? And I think that, like for me, it bothers me a lot to see ministries like who monetize the gospel. It bothers me so much, and I'm like, man, they always selling something over there. Like, how come you can't have like another business outside of, what it is that you're doing in the ministry, right? And then, you just have like, I have like so many ideas surrounding that. But I was like, okay, I don't want to focus on what other people are doing. Just focus on what the Lord told you to do, Alexis. Is anybody there? You want to focus on what God told you to do, but you're like, what do I do first? Anybody can feel me on that? It's like, what can I do first? What do you want me to do first, right? And so here we are, another year, 2022, 2021, 2022 is ahead of us. And you like, okay, God, I don't know what to release. We are about to have Black Friday. Black Friday is coming up. What am I supposed to launch on Black Friday? I know my other friends who are entrepreneurs are launching something. What am I supposed to launch, right? And you start having that struggle, if you will, with I'm going to have another year and I'm not launching anything. Anybody feeling me? Right. I know that, yeah. And so I just wanted to share with you my journey and maybe give you some encouragement. I want to give you some encouragement, like with things that I do, just be 100%. So, I started ministry in 2007. I started ministry in 2007. I was a graduate student at Southern Illinois University at that time, getting a degree in workforce education and development. And in 2007, I was called into the ministry. Now, I had given my life to the Lord when I was a kid, baptized, all that stuff when I was a kid, but really giving my life to the Lord completely when I turned like 24 years old. And so, just really immediately, started doing things in the ministry. I just started doing what I thought I was supposed to do. We had a church at the time, a pastor who was in from Atlanta, and he was like, very prophetic, apostolic, all those things, And so we started something called Word Up in Southern Illinois, and it just boomed. I think that was the first time that I knew that I had some kind of gift of influence. But it was an idea we came up with. It just blew up. It was like 100 people inside of a house, and then somebody gave us a building. And if you look back at your past, oftentimes it will show the steps to your future, or it will show signs to what your future is going to be. And I remember this woman prophesying to me, telling me there was something else I was called to be, that I thought I was supposed to be a rapper. Because see, at that time, I thought I was going to be a rapper. Like, really, I was a poet. I'm still a poet, but I thought that that's what I was called to be, was a rapper. And so she said, no, there's something else you're called to be. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that I would be talking on social media, all of those things. Matter of fact, I didn't even know that social media could be a job. Okay. I did not know that social media could be a job, because at that time it wasn't a job. Anyway, I went on and there was a prophecy about me getting a doctorate. So I went on and got my doctorate, what the Lord said, and I did all of that. And then I could not find a job. I could not find a job. I ended up, working at a shelter. Some of you guys can remember this, because when I started on social media in 2015, I was working in a shelter. I was working in a shelter with a PhD, making $14 an hour. Like, that is $14 an hour, like cleaning toilets. Holding kids, doing like the SAMA, that's like for shelter talk. And I'm thinking, God, where did I go wrong? Have you ever been in that place where you're wondering, where did I go wrong? I heard your voice. You told me to do this. You got me out here, in Texas from Illinois. You took me to Florida, and then you took me here, and everything, I did everything you said do, and now I'm making $14 an hour. It doesn't compute, and I got $200,000 worth of student loans. Like, what's going on? And I found myself getting very irritated with the way the Lord did things. I'm just being honest. I was just like, well, what's the point of this, right? What's the point of this? It doesn't make sense. But I remember when I was back in college, I always would think about like creating events. Like, I would just always think about creating events. And I would just like do random events. Okay, when I get some money, I'm gonna do this event. I wanted to gather people. I always wanted to gather people. And so when I got out of grad school, and I got out of my doctorate, when I was working at the university, when I was working at the shelter, I had a thought to bring a prophet to Austin. And because I wasn't seeing prophets. Now, in Chicago, there was a lot of prophets, right? And I'm not from Chicago, I'm from East St. Louis, but I went to Southern Illinois University. And so a lot of the teachings that were going on up in Chicago, I would get them down in Southern Illinois University. And so I wasn't seeing that in Austin. I wasn't seeing like the song of the Lord and people singing and worship and all of that stuff. I wasn't seeing that. And so I said, well, I'm going to bring somebody that I know on my Facebook out to Austin. And, and this kind of started too, because I was living at this time. I remember like right after my mom died, I went to go live with my boss. Like, I had a moment of struggle there when I was like working 2 jobs with a PhD, mind you. There was a moment of struggle, like, struggling for money, all this stuff, just all of those things. And you've done what the Lord has told you to do. Anybody hear me, right? And so I'll work wherever. Like, I'm not the type of person who gets so big, you done got this degree. Now you think you can't work. You're like, I'll go work at McDonald's. I did work at McDonald's in college. I worked at Captain D's. I worked at Blockbuster Video. Anybody hear me? Blockbuster Video. I've worked everywhere. I worked as a janitor in college. I'll do what I have to do. And I think that we need more people like that who will do what they have to do in the midst of whatever's going on. I understand, grabbing life by and just saying, listen, I gotta do this, just holding on and just trusting the Lord. But in the same time, you start struggling with, did I hear you or not? Because my family already thinks I'm crazy for going to school in the first place, right? And they think I went to school for a title, but not understanding that I went to school because it was a mandate. Right. And so anyway, and during that time, I just would start creating. See, I believe that the same genius that's in God is in us. That's scriptural, right? In Genesis, we see that, right? The same genius that's in him is inside of us, right? And so I'm like, God, I believe you for creative ability. I believe you for that. Even though I don't see where I'm going, I understand that there's a purpose over my life, even though I can't see it, right? Even though I'm sitting up here, sleeping on an air mattress. I don't understand what's going on, but I trust that there's something that you have for me. All right. And so I started bringing people into the town where I was at in Austin, Texas, and just creating the things that I wanted to see. See, that's all entrepreneurship is creating the thing that you want to see. It's the problem that you see, and now you say, I want to make a solution to it. All right. And so at that time, I remember taking my my money from that I was working for my two jobs. I took it and I put it together, and then I went and got those payday loans. I would go get a payday loan, and I would go get it for 3 days, because if you get it for 3 days before you have to, before they try to charge you for it, so that I could give it right back to them, because to make sure I had enough money to bring these events to the region where I was at. This is how I'm telling you. This is just straight up. But I did not know. I still didn't know that this is what I would do for a living. Do you hear me? Like that. Oh, this is what you're doing is you're creating events. And so at my apartment complex, somebody had done a Christmas event, and it was horrible. And I said, well, how are they doing this event? Like I could do this event in my sleep. And the manager said, well, in that case, I want you to do it then. And she said, but what you need is a business. She said, you need a business, and you need a plan, and you need insurance. And so, she's like, and you have like a week to get all of this so you can pitch. Because did you know that like apartments have like this, they have a budget, and all apartments have a budget, and they have to bring events to the residents, right? And many of you know that there are more apartments right now than there are houses. And so at this time I was still living in an apartment. And so anyway, I created my business, and I ended up calling it Create Event Solutions. And because I'm creating event solutions for like these apartment complexes. And so I just like created it. I came up with these cool ideas. I knew enough to go on Fiverr to get a flyer. I knew enough, to do all of this. It was just like creativity that would come to me. Okay. And so I told the apartment complex my idea and everything. And listen, they did not hire me. And this didn't happen to me once, but it happened to me twice. And so in that midst of that, I'm like, God, well, why did I just create this? I'm still struggling working, cleaning toilets overnight. So I would work one job in the day, and then I would come overnight and I would work there. Then I would go back to my daytime job at 7 a.m. At the school, because I worked at the school. I worked as a director of adult education, ESL. Okay. So I'm doing all of this, but I'm not seeing a breakthrough. That's many of you guys, like you're working, And so I realized, like, Lord, I'm toiling here, and you ain't never called us to toil. You ain't never called us to toil. You have not called me to toil, right? That's just bondage. I'm working too much. You have not called me to work 18 hours of my day. And I remember sometimes I would work 26 hours. That sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, one day on Mother's Day, I worked 26 hours, and that's not even legal. And I was doing it like, I'm like, well, I'm working. I'm out here getting it, right? Not sleeping right, almost getting in car accidents, doing all of that. That's toiling. That's not what the Spirit of the Lord would have us to do, especially me being prophetic. And before I was ever ordained, I was who I am, right? I was who I was before I got here. And so prophetic people should be able to create prophetic businesses. Okay. In the end of the day, my prayer is that you're able to create a prophetic business, right? That you're able to find the solution for the problem that you see before you. I saw people doing whack events. So I said, I'm going to do a better event than they could ever do. That's just what it was. All right. So, or I didn't see what I wanted in the region that I was at. And so anyway, my job, I remember having a dream that my boss was going to fire me, and that night she was in the job, she was waiting for me. And she said, listen, I tossed and turned. She wasn't even a believer like that. She said, I tossed and turned. I can't sleep. I can't eat. And I feel God is telling me, if I don't let you go, you'll never be what you're called to be. If I don't let you go, you'll never be what you're called to be. And so here I am. I'm out here like, and please share the broadcast, you guys. Hey, welcome. I'm just having a conversation with you. I want to motivate some of you guys. And so, and mind you, I had lived with this boss. I lived with her. Okay. And she said, no, you'll never be what you're called to be if I keep you at this job. And so, she fired me into my purpose. She fired me into my purpose. I was still working the overnight job, and I tried to compensate for that by working doubles and triples, and all them crazy stuff that we try to do, because we're not understanding that in this time God wants us. He's demanding us to really get in His face and hear Him, and He's oftentimes already given us the solution. Okay, so here we are. The apartment complex, the business that I created is not coming together, and then I'm fired from my job, and now I only have one other job that I'm working at, making $14 an hour. At least the other one I was making $18 an hour, and it was kind of in my field. Okay, it was a kind of prestigious. You could still say, it's just like it's sort of. Anyway, so what ended up happening was, I started, bringing conferences, and my first conference, well, I did one event. It was like 50 people there, but I did like a conference, and it was about 200 something people there. And when we did the conference, of course, you have to pay for all this stuff. And I told you how I did it, but there was a lady named Saturday, and she actually funded me to do my event. She funded me, she helped me, and all the proceeds that came from the conference, whatever was left, she put it in a bank account for me. And a year later, she said, here, I'm going to give you this so that you can start doing events. For real. That's what she said. Now, mind you, I still never took any money yet. I didn't even know that you could, make money by doing any events, right? I didn't really know that. But I just knew that I wanted to see these events in my region. And it wasn't just like conferences, like motivational conferences or prophetic conferences. I'm talking about like parties. I would do like the Blue Affair, the Golden Affair, different events that I wanted to see in my region. I would do those events. And so things just started, just blowing up in that area. Then I got online. I never knew that getting online would do what it's done for me. But this is a whole nother industry. Facebook pays me. Okay, first of all, they pay me for like videos. Any video I put up 1 minute, they pay me for ads. Okay. And I want to help other people do that. I'm actually going to do a course on that, because I really feel that more people need to be on Facebook. YouTube pays me to get on here for ads. Okay. And I see some people starting their YouTube and they don't even know how to get the views that they need. Like, they don't know how to put the tags at the bottom of it. I see people who have really good content who has like 5 views, and I'm like, what's going on here? I know this person has good content. And listen, I get it, because when I first got online, like I only had like a couple of views, and then all of a sudden it started to pick up. Consistency is so key in this. But anyway, I'm telling my story to kind of motivate you to say, what are you going to launch, right? This has little to do with me, more to do with you. But if you could see the process of what I went through to get to here, right? I'm teaching at the university still. I didn't teach this semester, but I used to beg God to be a professor. But honestly, I really don't want to do that anymore, because last year I did like $200,000 in courses about grants and about contracts and things that I events and things that I love to do, education. And my degree is in adult education, and so the same courses that I'm teaching at the university, I just flipped that and started teaching it to people who watch me, and they're able to use it and apply it immediately. And so I said, why would I still work at the university when I can have my own university, right? My mind just started to shift. But peep this. This year, I got so unmotivated, right? I got so unmotivated. I was just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't feel like doing anything. And I started to get like irritated, because last year I just threw some stuff up and I was able to do well. And I was like, well, now I need a system, right? I started looking at other people's systems, and I was like, well, they got a better system. And so because of it, I didn't do any classes this year. I did like one course at the beginning of the year, but nothing seriously. I got overwhelmed because I started to look everywhere except where I needed to look, right? And so I started to like really focus, like, oh man, I don't got this, I don't got that. And I'm like, Alexis, you know better than this, because when God told you to go on YouTube, because the Lord told me to come on YouTube, He said, go on YouTube, Upload your videos. And I would just upload them every month. I would just upload a random 3-minute video. I'll come back, it was like 10,000 views. He showed me how to tag the videos. He showed me how to do everything. Again, I didn't know that I could make money off of YouTube. I did not know that at this time. I just was doing what God told me to do. And so then like 2 years later, I come on YouTube live, and it was like 1,100 people waiting for me live for me to go live. And I'm like, this is interesting, right? But all I was doing at that time was like building, 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 building. Sometimes you're building and it's just like, I tell people just build because God is watching. Some people say build like no one's watching. No, build. God is watching. You know, he's the one who's watching you. You know, you're just doing what he tells you to do, right? So this year, though, I felt like, man, this was such a failure. Alexis, like you started to get overwhelmed. I mean, overwhelmed. I really got overwhelmed this year. Anybody hear me? Anybody else feel me? Like you get overwhelmed, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Everything I thought I was going to do this year, I didn't do. I mean, I did events. I did like prophetic events, but those events are different because for me, that's more about like kingdom. So kingdom work, it's not about like making money for me. That's kingdom work. I'm talking about like my courses or things that I went to school for, or, you know, things that that's what I want to make money off of, because too many people make money off of their ministry. Like I'm not here to make money off my ministry. So that's something that is a pet peeve for me. Right. And so, but at the same time, people do bless the ministry. So I do want to say that people do bless the ministry. I have an official nonprofit organization. But this year, I guess I did do some things. We did do so see, you have to come back and say, I guess I did do something. We launched a nonprofit. We had a nonprofit, but we got our first contract. Okay. So that's a federal contract. I mean, praise God for that. So I wasn't as focused on my actual business. You see how many things like you could be running at a time. So we got our first contract. We also, launched Prophetic Outliers here in Dallas, so those are some major things that we did. But at the same time, I feel like on the business side, it was lacking. And so I know some of you, it's similar, right? You feel like, man, like God, I have all these ideas again. I'm a prophetic voice. I love to prophesy. I love to speak life into people. But God, I know in business, you want me to excel in that area. And I just want to motivate you that you cannot look at everybody else, what they're doing. Because when you start trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it's very easy to do this, it's very easy to get caught up in what somebody else is doing. But when you start keeping up with them, you will not do anything at all. I mean, you won't do nothing at all, right? You won't do anything at all. And it will paralyze you. It will cause you to be in so much fear. So much fear, right? You better hear from heaven yourself. You better hear from heaven what God wants you to do. I mean, if it's a church, if it's a ministry, I feel like it's so many of you who have ministries and God is waiting on you to do a TikTok. Listen, God is waiting on you to do a YouTube. I'm tired of seeing the same people online. I just happened to start in 2014, 2015 on Periscope. So I came in kind of at the beginning of this thing, but it's a lot of frauds online. Right. But I believe that those who follow this ministry are authentic and that God will use you. You just need somebody to tell you how to do it. Right. And so I'm not here to keep any secrets or say, I don't know everything. But I know what, when I thought that I needed to buy all them cameras and everything, it was easier for me. I bought the cameras and all this. I ended up giving my camera away, my Canon cameras to my friend. And I spent good money on them Canons, right? But I realized, no, he just said, do what he told me to do. I went and got this Apple computer and started going live off of it because all I need to do is press a button. See, later on, I can come back and try to be all glam and everything, right? But for now, let me just do what he said to get the word out. And so that meant sometimes it was 50 people online, right? I don't know if some of you remember, I was doing a cup of prayer, all right? And then I came back this year, I think at the beginning of this month, there was 30 300 people on the live for the prophetic Zoom. I mean, the prophetic word of the Lord. And then now there's almost 70,000 who have watched that replay. So if you continue to be consistent, right, and you be authentic, I'm not trying to be nobody else. I don't always have the best words. I don't always know sometimes I'm like, man, Alexis, let me go back to that scripture and make sure it said this, and I'm reading it on here. I have bloopers. You guys see that. But you know what it is? I'm straight up with y'all. Like, and I remember somebody told me, you need to cast out that East St. Louis in you. But I'm going to tell you something. Me being from Centerville, Illinois, me being from around the way has been the best thing for me, because it caused me to be very authentic in who I am. It's all I can be, right? And people are looking for an authentic voice. And so there are many of you who are going to raise up from being from your job, because I no longer worked at the shelter. Okay. In 2017, I left the shelter and I left the other job. The Lord fired me into my purpose. All right. And I completely started living off of faith. And I remember there was one time I did not know how I was going to pay my rent. I did not know how I was going to pay my rent, but I remember that there were people who would come and then they would just bless me. I mean, they would just sow into my life. This is before I started doing courses. This is before any of that happened, because God said, I'm going to be the engine that keeps you going here. All right. It's a faith walk, Alexis. So here I am, PhD with no job. Family saying she got a PhD in nothing. What did she get a PhD for? What was the purpose? It had everything to do with the glory of God. With God saying, look, I'm going to take this story of this girl who was not allowed to go to school for 4 years when she was a kid, who was in and out of foster care. I'm going to take her story and I'm going to show the world what I can do with someone like her. But now it's a different thing for me. He's always taking us from glory to glory, to faith, right? It's that whole faith walk. Right. And so if it's you uploading a video, if it's you learning how to do this thing, and don't get caught up in all the details, you guys. Sometimes we get caught up in the details and it paralyzes us that we can't launch nothing. You'll be like, what I did this year, right? I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't, everything I wanted to do. I got like 2 more months. But at the same time, it wasn't like, I guess this fear came on me. Can I do it again? Right? Can it happen again? Right? It's that fear that comes on you, and just your ideas start getting stuck. And I want to tell you guys, first of all, the scripture has been in my head, Luke 12:32. But seek first the kingdom, and these things will be added unto you. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father is pleased to give you the kingdom. Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Right. And so there's other things that it says here in the next verse. It says to give to the poor. I think that's definitely important when you're doing business, to give to the poor. That should be like our number one thing, our number one giving strategy and business strategy is to give to the poor. I'm telling you, you will see more come in than ever before. It is the Lord. The Lord will reward you. You will find your finances will increase. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But even though your business may be small, right? Even though you may be having like a couple of people on your broadcast, it's his good pleasure to give us the kingdom. I am the little flock, it's me, oh God, right? With a couple of people, maybe maybe it's not the little flock, right? So, but it's growing. But there was a time when it wasn't, right? And so there was a time when I was trying to figure out everything to get my voice out there, because God had he told me to do something, but I had to trust him in that process. And so he really continues to tell me, I'm raising up other voices, right? It's not only me. Elisha, remember there was like 7,000 more prophets who had not bowed to Baal, right? There are other people who can minister the word of the Lord. There's other people who have not bowed, who are not, egotistical, who are not out here for money, with the Cash App gang. And I'm not all the way anti Cash App. I'm just anti, why are you coming on here every 5 minutes to get money, right? Like, don't be like them. Pray and ask God to give you a strategy on what he wants you to do, even if it's not even if it's not social media, but I'm telling you, social media, we all got to master it in order to be successful in business these days, right? And so maybe that means you baking a cake for Black Friday and saying, I'm going to bake 5 cakes and I'm going to charge $25 or $40 per cake, right? I don't know how much, 40 or 50, whatever your time is, maybe that means you're going to say, I'm going to do 5 coaching calls. In other words, don't think that you have to do 10 or 20, right? Don't think that you have to do 100 in sales, 100, people. Don't think that you have to do all that. Just start small because it's his good pleasure. He said, don't be afraid, little flock, right? Don't be afraid. I see that you little in number, but it's my good pleasure to give you the kingdom, right? And you're seeking first the kingdom by even doing what the gift that I put inside of you, right? You're seeking first the kingdom. And so you just have to start, right? You just have to put one foot in front of the other and start what it is that he told you to do. And you know what? You might not have 1 million followers, right? I don't have 1 million followers, but God told me a couple of weeks ago, well, a couple of months ago, it was like 2 months ago, he said, Alexis, get on TikTok and I want prayer is your platform. I just want you to pray. So I would record my voice on my phone and I would literally record my voice on my phone and I would contact like Kyle Lovett or somebody to do a quick, prophetic song for me and then put it behind my voice. And then I would have somebody do a quick video for me, because I was like, I don't always be picture ready. My hair don't always be done. And then I would upload it to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook. And the Lord just told me to do it. Okay. He said, prayer is going to be your platform. So of course, I have a video that did maybe, I don't know, 2.5 million views. And honestly, I didn't even work hard on that video. I literally recorded something and put it together, and somebody did a video for me. It was just quick. I just put it out there and it just went. I was like, man, that's crazy. I couldn't have planned that. But then when I started doing these other videos, I'm like, man, I'm just going to put the videos out there because I heard the Lord say prayer was my platform, and I'll just put it out there. And so there's times that the video will have 5,000 views, right? Or 10,000 views. And I'm like, but this ain't the million views, God. I'm doing what you told me to do. But it doesn't matter about all that. It matters no, literally, you got to get in your mind. It doesn't matter like that. Who did it touch, right? There's some people whose life was touched by that because God told me to do it. It was my obedience. And so I can't get stuck in the numbers is what I'm telling you. And neither can you. You might start with 5 or 10, but next year it'll grow to 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 100. But by you starting, it's just you starting that is the main thing. And so putting one foot before the other and putting one foot before the other and just going. For instance, I'm not in any big groups. It's just me. I have friends. It's just us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in no cliques or anything like that. So I don't have major people pushing my stuff out. It's just me building, doing what the Holy Spirit is telling me to do. And I trust that. I trust his hand, even when I don't understand his plan. I told my friend that the other day. I was praying for her and I was like, girl, we trust his hand, even when we don't understand his plan. And that is my prayer is for you guys. Trust his hand. Don't get stuck in what everybody else is doing, but I want you to launch something. All right. I want you to launch something this year. I want you to launch something this year. This is my challenge to you. Okay. It doesn't have to be big. We get stuck in that. Oh my goodness, I got to make this a big book. I got to make this big ebook. Most ebooks aren't even that many words. Okay. Just launch something, and you don't have to have the greatest flyer. You don't have to have the greatest anything. And even still, let's say you say, okay, I'm going to take some new pictures. I remember I didn't want to take pictures because I was I gained 20 pounds and I do not want to take the pictures. I'm going to wait to take pictures until I lose weight. And because of that, you guys, I didn't take pictures for 4 years. For 4 years. And then finally, when I took pictures, I'm like, my goodness, it don't even look like it looks fine. It's not even, what were you tripping about, Alexis? And I still never lost the 20 pounds. Do you hear me? So it's kind of like, why am I sitting up here getting stuck in perfectionism? Perfectionism is really pride. It's idolatry. It is pride that I know better. Like, oh, I don't want to put this out because, and it's like I'm going against what the Lord said. I tell people all the time, and this is the women who I coach, and I don't coach that much because I just I just get overwhelmed with people's stories sometimes, and I want to fix their lives. And so because of that, I don't do that many. I think this, like, Black Friday, that's what I'm going to release, is a few coaching sessions, because people always want, to ask for my help. But I really tell them, like, please don't come to me if you're not going to be serious. If you're not going to lunch, stay away from me, because I'm probably not the one you want to talk to, because I'm not a counselor. Like, there are counselors, there are coaches, there are mentors. Like, I'm more of a mentor who can help you, but I'm not really here to counsel a situation, because I'm not a counselor, right? There's people who are licensed for that. But if you still need counseling and you're not ready to launch, then you probably don't want to come to me. I'm really the person who, anybody on here who I've helped launch will tell you. I'm the one who's going to tell you, let's go. Don't come to me when you're ready to go. Like, that's all I can say. When you're ready to come, let's go, That's what I'm about, the launch club. I'm about launching other women, launching other men, helping them to be a success. And I may be able to take you as far as I can take you, and then somebody else comes and takes you to the next place. But God used me to help other apostles, prophets, all that stuff. So I said, okay, well, let me help other people, everyday people who need help, right? But at the same time, I'm like, don't come to me if you come into play. So you're gonna be behind, like, over there, because I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna be like, I'm not here. I can't solve that problem. Like, only God can solve that problem. But I'm a go-getter, right? But even in my go-getting this year, I'm like, I didn't do everything I wanted to do. And so um I know other people are like that too, right? They're like, God, I didn't do everything I wanted to do. Um I didn't do everything that I wanted to do, right? And so you get overwhelmed with trying to do something. And even recently, I decided that I don't want to just release anything, right? I don't want to just release a book because people are releasing million books. I don't want to just release a quote because people are doing quotes every day on their social media. I want to, I want to make sure that what I'm saying is really breathed from the Lord. So, it's like he processes me through, in public, because at first I thought that that's what I want to do, hire somebody to run my social media so that I can have like a picture perfect social media, and then I could do this and do that. And I'm like, in the end of the day, Alexis, I mean, I'm telling you, I made the most money I've ever made, 6 figures, on a course, and I put it on a website that I made in like 30 minutes. That I didn't have like all the great graphics. That lets me know that it has nothing to do with that, right? It's the content that people care about, right? And so if it's you launching a course, which I really tell people, like, please launch a course. You know how to do something I don't know how to do. People launch courses on how to do 4 braids, cornrows in people's hair, okay? And people take that course. I'd rather go to a faith-based course that I know people ain't going to be shaking their tail, smoking weed, cursing me out, in the course. Like, I feel like there's a rise of faith-based courses that are going to happen. People are looking for faith-based courses, okay? Looking for faith-based courses. And so I think that it's important that we release them, right? We are the answer that people are waiting for. We are the answer. We are the solutionist. That's my prayer, that you would be the solutionist. And we are the solutionist. You be talking with your friends, having the greatest ideas, and and then when it comes to launching it, you be like, well, what happened, girl? I don't know what happened. I don't want to. Everybody got a boutique. I don't want to launch it. Everybody got a boutique, right? Everybody got this, right? And then you be like, I don't want to launch it. I think sometimes about elderly care, people who are anointed to deal with elderly care. My goodness, y'all are gonna have so much money. Like, there is a need for elderly care, specifically for like urban communities. Please, please, we are the solutionists. Part of whatever that infrastructure deal is, I'm like, I'm getting some of that money in that government contract. I'm always looking for ideas. Like, I'm getting some of that, right? So, and I'm here to pivot too. Even if an idea didn't work last year, I'm here to pivot this year. Like, okay, it ain't work last year, but I'm about to pivot because, I believe in the pivot. Hallelujah. We are solutionists, y'all. We are solutionists. We are solutionists. And so I am there are multiple ways to make money, and multiple ways, like even right now, and I'm doing a course. This is actually the course I wanted to launch. We'll see if I'm launching it. You see how I'm just kind of like, I have so many things, but really we were, with my team, we were talking about the 3 different courses I was going to launch before the end of the year. But one of them was how to make money on social media. I got like 500 something people signed up to a website called Womply, and they gave me $30,000. Yeah, they gave me $30,000. As an affiliate. Yep. And I didn't have to, do a lot of running around to get that. I think the year prior I did like, or 2 years prior, like $10,000 as an affiliate with another company. And so like affiliate marketing, just so many ways, like up posting a couple of videos, like that's probably $2,500 a month. Yep. So there are so many ways that we can make money without selling our gift, being, multiple. I'm in multiple places, like multiple, being called to multiple things. You can be both prophetic and an entrepreneur. I think that, Paul was an apostle and he was a tent maker. You have to know how to maneuver. So for my gift, when people say, hey, can you come speak at my event? I pray and ask the Lord, can I speak there if it's something he wants me to speak at? They say, well, what's the fee? I said, it's nothing. It's whatever the Lord tells you to give me, because I'm not here for my gift. Like, my gift is going to make room. There's other gifts that I have as an entrepreneur that are going to make other room, right? So, there's other ways to make money. And you can make money just by it, just by telling people about a website. Oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. If that's what it is, I'll do that. Right. And so I believe that I'm going to take like 22 women to Montego Bay in January to help them to launch their vision. And that they're going to roll with me for the whole year. And we're going to go to Mexico as well for production, so that we can shift getting stuff out of China and get it out of Mexico, and also to other nations. That is my goal for 2022, to have a launch club. That's my goal. And prayerfully, COVID would leave us alone so that we can do it. But that is my prayer, to take 22 women, to take a group of 22 women with me. And so, yeah, I'm like, God, that's what I want to do. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Anyway, do you guys have any questions? Just kind of like what you're going through. Can I answer anything about the entrepreneurship piece? I'm just on here kind of sharing with you my grievances, like things that I go through as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman and a prophetic woman, and just being very candid with you guys and saying like, this is what it is. It's like some years you'll have it where you're just like, I don't know. I don't know. God, I don't know. I don't know. So, can you guys ask me some questions? You guys engage with me. What is a courses website? So, I just started, y'all. I just started with a new website for courses. I'm going to tell you guys about it when I update everything to it, but if it's a good website, I'm gonna put you on it because every website. See, I get that's another reason why I didn't do a lot of courses this year. Like Kajabi, it's too hard for me. Um, ClickFunnels, too hard for me. Right? All these funnel apps and stuff. I'm like, I don't like all that. Like, I'm here to tell you that whatever you sell, please have an easy website where people can buy it in 2 seconds. For real. Nobody wants to read 10 pages to buy one thing that is, one thing. Like, no, I don't want to read all that. Let me buy this right now. And if it's too hard for me to buy it, I like click out immediately. So I think I found a good website. I'm going to put you guys on it. Just stay tuned because I just signed up to this website within the last week. Okay. So do you need a huge following for affiliate marketing to be profitable? I would say no, because I didn't always have the following that I have now. So you, I think, I don't know how many people for the one website. You guys remember? I forgot what it was, but they would charge $15 every person who signed up to this app. And this guy told me about it, and I thought it was fake because I didn't know about affiliate marketing right at that time. But I just would put it on my regular Facebook because at that time I was not using my other Facebook, right? My Dr. Alexis page. And also I keep my Dr. Alexis page kind of separate with what I do with my regular Alexis McClinton page. And so I mean, people just, they want to know how to make money too, right? So they're going to sign up for it because they want to be an affiliate too. So you can be an affiliate on Amazon. You could be an affiliate for like so many companies. I recommend that you Google affiliate companies. It just happened that Womply was paying $200 per person. And that was during like the PPP time, right? And then that's another thing. I love information. And so I told people like, listen, PPP, I'm just letting you know. So all of my PPP was forgiven, every bit of my PPP. And I didn't have to do fraud or anything like that. Like I just was honest. Like this is what I run. And I'm so glad that I had already been doing my own events and stuff. And so, the next year when COVID happened, I was able to do the PPP. But I told people like, listen, this is how you do it. I sat here and walked people through. I try to walk them through like grants, any kind of funding I got. Like this year we got, for the summertime, we got like $175,000 contract. And then we're about to get another one that's like 800,000. And, I try to like walk people through it because I'm like, listen, this is not just Alexis. You can get this too. You just have to like listen to what I'm telling you. Because I don't like the kind of clubs that be like, yeah, you can't get this because you got to have this. I'm like, nah, like I got a lot of faith, but structure is important too, even with faith. And so like I try to help people like to get their nonprofit organization quick, stuff like that so that they can be able to get different funding. We just got a grant, and it took like a couple of minutes to fill out for that grant. And it was like for $10,000. Like we just filled it out. And because we're trying to get a truck for our organization, we got the grant. So I'm like, man, that was not even hard, right? A lot of times it's just like apply, literally apply. Okay, so I'm reading these questions, you guys. So, hey, Kalia, I'm going to release the information for the mentorship that I'm going to do. I am going to do a mentorship. We're going to go to like 4 different cities. 4 different, a couple of nations and some cities. And it's really just for people who are prophetic entrepreneurs and really, just take like a couple of days together in each city and come back like each quarter and meet up with one another and see where we're at. So that is going to be like my that's going to be like, I guess, a high ticket offer where I will be with the women. But then I always clearly, like, you're part of my, you're part of me. So I don't know. We're connected. You're in another one of my groups. But this is for like, because I just did a purple group with women for the whole year, and it turned into like a whole prophetic group. And like they came out to my conferences last week. It was really good. So that's that. But I'm gonna do, this is gonna be like prophetic entrepreneurship, and so really for women who are wanting to, hit, past like six figures, really just try to hit the $1 million mark in business. And so that is going to be that group. But I really believe that we can do it in a year. And yeah, I'm excited about it. We were talking about it last year, but COVID put a wrench in my plan. So okay, I'm reading you guys. Somebody said, how do I get unstuck? I've been praying for vision and I'm not getting anywhere clear. Or do we just ecclesiastic it and try everything? Let's see. How do we get unstuck? I would say, honestly, like most of the stuckness is in your head. Like it's in your head. And a lot of times too, if I'm stuck, I will move out of a place that God has me bound. Like I can't stay nowhere that has me. I don't care if it's a church. I don't care if it's a group of people. Like if everybody's not moving, then this ain't the group for me, because I believe in moving. I believe in forward motion. Like we all have a time of that we can get stagnant. Like to me, this year has been stagnant for my business. But not my nonprofit. It was good, but for the business, I felt like, man, this is just not where I wanted. I was focused on something else, right? And so I would say really just get connected with people who are in motion, because other people in motion will cause you to be in motion too. Absolutely. Do you believe in having the whole plan together? No. Somebody said, do you believe in having the whole plan together before starting a platform that God gives you to do, like meeting with God before you launch? Oh, I believe in meeting with God, but I don't believe in having the whole plan together, because I've never had a plan together. I've never had it right. When I tell you I ain't never had it right, I ain't never had it right. But God gave me a team of great people. I have a great assistant. I have a great administrator. And I really want to tell you guys, like I'm sharing with you numbers to tell you, like, man, this is a real thing. Like, not to be braggadocious, because I don't believe in that, right? Because but because I want to help you to say, listen, I am not skilled in like affiliate marketing. I don't know anything about it, but every year it pays me, right? But no, I don't have any plans. I don't come up like a lot of plans. Like literally my plans be like notes I write on my phone really quick. But God did give me a team of people who like to plan. But me, I just like to like throw something out there and they be like, well, what's the plan? I'm like, I sure don't know. But I'm gonna somebody said that they make they plan while they're in the air. They build while they're in the air. That's kind of like me too. I'm like, I'm creating while I'm creating, because I'm just so random. It's like prophetic randomness, but I'm telling you that prophetic randomness, I'm telling you that be like the most prophetic ever. Like it's like, oh my goodness, is it's literally how success happens for me. But you may be a planner, right? You may be somebody who likes to write notes down, but just don't plan so much that you never launch anything. Thank you, Thea. She said, I'm speaking to your life and situations. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, I'm reading some of these questions, you guys. What is it about Brandon Woodson, Pastor Brandon Woodson? What is it about being a pastor who has online business but not coming off as gimmicky? Sometimes I feel like I don't want to share what I have, so I don't come off as a pastor who's always looking for money. Yeah, I mean, this is where I'm at, because I come do the prophetic broadcast, and then people like, okay, so what does she do? What exactly does she do? Right? But it's like, I feel that the life I had prior to, prophesying and doing the ministry, God knew that, right? So I think that you can do both and be successful. I love to see people in the kingdom who are successful business owners, right? So you're a pastor. Hopefully, you'll have a church of entrepreneurs. That's what I see for you anyway. A church of entrepreneurs. And so you guys are a church that flows in that in business as well as, and you flow in ministry. And then Paul, right? Jesus was a carpenter. I mean, you have just different people in the word where you'll see like they were businessmen. I think it's okay to be a businessman, but you're right, not signing gimmicky, but I would start with what I love to tell people, like, start with the group that's around you and then expand beyond you. And so if that means there's 10 people in your core group, I would say, hey, those 10 people, I'm going to sell to those 10 people. And then, like, just based on word of mouth, people are going to be like, okay, this is a good person to go to for this. It really depends on what your service is, sir. And I don't really know what it is, but I could really foresee you, like, mentoring young people and really people joining your ministry, your church, because of entrepreneurship. And so we need that. We need more entrepreneurships. We need more faith-based business. And really, a lot of times when we think somebody is feeling some type of way about us, like, it's really what we feel about us. A lot of people ain't even tripping. They ain't even tripping off of that, right? Or but some people do, right? And so this weekend, this lady was telling her husband, she was like, I know Dr. Alexis probably made so much money off of this event. And I broke it down to her husband. I said, no, I didn't even take $1. This last thing, I didn't even take $1 of it. I was like, it's so funny that she would think that, and I broke down every expense to do an event like that. Even like when people say like, oh man, you making so much money from these events, like, what are you talking about? Like, have you ever went and asked a ballroom how much it costs to do an event at a ballroom? A ballroom, it's like, if you have 600 people at an event, right? I charged for 200 people or 250 people who came to daytime sessions. You charge for that, right? And everybody else can come for free. So at nighttime. And so people say, well, why would you charge for an event? Well, a ballroom itself can cost like $10,000 a day, right? I don't have a church. I'm an online ministry, right? So if I don't have a building, then of course, where are we going to meet? It will be at a hotel, right? Because I want it to be as neutral as possible. And I learned that the more you rent at churches, the more it could be like trouble later, right? Because you may have trouble in theology and all this other stuff. And I don't really play with control, and so a lot of people can get irritated with me because I'll be like, you in a controlling church? I ain't finna be. No. So anyway, that costs money. And then you think about flights, you think about hotel rooms. Like, I'm like, well, what? We hitting up to like 25K, 30K, ain't we? Right. So no, I just believe in like us all coming together. If we want to bring somebody to the region, let's all come together and bring them, right? So I'm going to tell you, and even on my tickets, I said everything that I was paying for. Like, I put my whole thing right there so everybody could know this is what she's doing. And I know we're on there. So I'm like, man, people, like, they come up with their own ideas in their head, but I'm like, it's okay. Like, God's going to get the glory because I don't have to explain myself. But I do believe in like being 100 and, people, so they don't think like, nah, it's not me. Okay, somebody is asking. Somebody said the grants are only available for you guys in the divided states. Okay. I'm trying to look at the questions, you guys. She said, I see so many issues in the publishing arena. What do you think about conducting online writing classes and securing clients who are serious about writing and not trying to pick your brain? Yes, I think you should have, your own writing course. I have a couple of them, but I don't really write. I do like a write to recite program. It's like a recite your book program. I'm actually launching that this year too. But I think that it's okay. Like, you should, take people through anything that you've been able to master, teach it. Or anything that you've learned how to do and it's hard to do, teach it. People would love to learn how to do it from you. And even if it's 10 people, it's more than zero, right? Teach it. And then you have to ask yourself, how much would it have cost for my time? How much does my hour cost? And not only does my hour cost, because you also have to think it's probably going to take you about 10 to 15 hours to come up with your content for the course, right? So if it's like 15 hours, then, and if you do the course live, I like doing courses live, but I'm also going to start doing evergreen courses, which are courses that are where people can like pay, like view it whenever they want to view it. But you also got to think, how long did it take me to make this website? How long did it take me to do this? And then you think, okay, how much does this course cost? Because a lot of times we want to lowball the course when it took you a long time to do it. I would tell people, do not do a course that's under $100. Do not launch a course that's under $100. And that's cheap, really. But don't launch a course under $100 because your time is like, So imagine if you got 10 people to take your course, that's $1,000. So that's $1,000 you didn't have. And so, yeah, and then that is just going to motivate you to make another course. And so then you, not only did you have the courses, so now you have coaching opportunities that you put on top of the course. Once people take the course, they may want to have one-on-ones with you. And so now you're putting that on top of the course, right? So, and people, it's so many opportunities for coaching. Everybody wants a coach right now. I mean, because they need somebody to help them. I believe in coaching. I just don't believe in piranhas. All right. Let's see who else. Somebody said, how do you connect with people in motion? I'm trying to do that. What's a good way to do that? Yeah, because people can be mean girls. I know. Especially there can be mean girls in the church. And that's why I say pray, and ask the Lord. And it's my prayer for you, Cherie, that God would send you the right people to connect with you in ministry, business, the right people, that he would send them, because it needs to be heaven sent and not your own connection. I always found out that people that I tried to connect to, that I wasn't supposed to connect to, it'll drain me. But people that God wanted me to connect to, it will just like energize me, right? And so I just pray the right people to connect. How do we register for elderly care contracts? I have a house that I'm currently renovating. I'm a Medicaid case manager, and there's a big need for housing and elderly care. I would say with wherever your health and human service department is in your region, they often have the contracts. I know also workforce departments have the contracts, but they have the contracts, and they can direct you, and they need the help. When I tell you they need the help, they need the help. And then you can go ahead and, if you're a Medicaid caseworker, then you know that you can process all of it in. You can process it all through Medicaid. But also, just Google it. Like, I found Health and Human Services. They had like some drug to help with drug rehabilitation. After my brother died, I really wanted to help with drug rehabilitation. All I had to do was apply for the contract. Okay. Or apply to work as a vendor. And oftentimes it's like, we don't, helping homeless right now. It's like one of the number one contracts they have out now. You could just Google like local contracts. And most times they don't have anybody who wants to go and fill out all the paperwork. So yeah, just Google it. And I'm telling you, it's really not that hard. And then yeah, you just research it and see where the money is. And often somebody will help you fill out the paperwork for the money. All right. What's my advice for building a team? Prayer, and just, prayer, like asking God to connect you with the right people, because a lot of times people are afraid. You need somebody who wants to serve a vision. And sometimes people don't want to serve a vision. They want their own vision launched. And I believe in all of us having a vision and ideas, but for a season, somebody has to work alongside of you. I believe in paying people too. And so the right people coming, not only for they're being paid, but also like they're getting something, like as far as what is the incentive that they'll get from working on a team with you? I'm not trying to control another, human. I'm trying to for us all to come up. And I think when people see that as really as a team and not somebody trying to control them or anything like that, manipulate them, then they'll really want to work alongside of you too. And they see your heart. Yeah. All right. Okay, how often do you need to go live on post on social media to grow your audience? So I'm absolutely doing this social media course because I want to help faith-based businesses. I'm doing that. Hold it to me. Hold me to it. I'm doing that next week. I'm launching that for Black Friday. But you guys, honestly, I literally grew social media by being myself. I barely go live now. And before, I used to try to go live every day when I first started. And I'm like, I don't like when prophetic people go live every day because it's like it waters down the word that you're speaking. So I don't do that. That's for me. But depending on what you're going live about, did you know that you could make $9,000-$10,000 a month by posting ocean videos on YouTube? Ocean sounds. Oh yeah. You can make $9,000 or $10,000 a month by posting random sounds on YouTube. People go on there and they just want to hear these sounds to go to sleep. Oh yeah. It's a whole big business. And a lot of people don't know about it, but it's a big business. Social media is a big business. My goodness. And it's called influencer marketing. That is what I am. I would be called, but I don't, not an influencer, but I'm telling you that that's what they see us as because of the fact that you have influence, some type of influence. But even micro influencers, if you have 1,000 followers, please. This one lady, you guys, she made $200,000 every time she did an event. She would have like less than 100 views on her Facebook. This lady was making so much money doing her events, her retreats. I was like, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't. It matters about you being authentic and who you are and people connecting with your authenticity and you being set in what it is that you're giving to people, right? So if you're talking about cakes, you're talking about cakes, you're talking about, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is you talk about. Or I always talk about cakes because I love cake. But whatever it is that you're talking about, like being consistent is key too. And not trying to master everything, right? So I wasn't trying to master YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at the same time. It happened over the years, right? That I started saying, oh, okay, now I hear you saying do TikTok, right? And I just wanted to see like, oh, what if I upload a video? What's going to happen, right? Did nobody know me on TikTok? Maybe a few people, but they ain't know me like that, right? It's a whole new audience. I did what the Lord told me to do. He told me to upload a video. Like the other day, it did like 60,000 views. Like I was like, don't nobody know me on here, right? I just did what the Lord told me to do. TikTok is one of the easiest markets to break open. TikTok, I'm telling you, one of the easiest. Yep. Okay. I'm reading. So a ministry, a business, and nonprofit at the same time. That's what I do. I juggle all of those things. I have an LLC. I got a DBA. I got a nonprofit. My nonprofit is my ministry because it's K Nation Group. And what advice do I have? How do I suggest juggling it? Yeah, I would go. I heard this woman say this. She said, wherever the Lord is flowing in that time, that's what you do. Don't think you have to do all three at once, right? Just like you heard me say, I didn't do a lot with Create Event Solutions this year. That's my event. My event. I do my genius classes through Create Event, all of that. I didn't do a lot with that. but I did do a lot with my nonprofit this year, right? So even though in one area I feel like I failed, in the other area I feel like there was success. So don't think you have to do them all at once, woman of God. You do the one that is the most pressing, um, and then move to the other one. And every season you'll see a pivot, like 2022, we're going to see pivots. And maybe I won't do the ministry as well. I'll continue to do this, I'll do, I'll have events and stuff, but I'm saying maybe I won't do as many contracts. I don't know, but do the one that's the most pressing on your heart, and then you can move around. Or you can do one at 75% and one at 10%. Like, you don't have to do, but you don't have to do everything at once. And also, you don't have to have everything perfect. Okay. All right. All right. So she said, God called me to be a prophet to the nations, but I don't have anyone to help me or train me in the prophetic. I would like to help people with coaching or social, just not sure of myself like a Moses. God called me to be a prophet to the nations. Yeah. You know what I struggle a lot with? Like, when people are called to be prophets, and or they are prophets, because the Bible says, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you and I called you to be a prophet. So you were born a prophet. And then we wait on a man to validate. Paul said, Paul called to be an apostle, not by any man, right? And the prophet and the apostle are actually called straight up by God. God trains us, but we wait for somebody to say, okay, validate them, right? Your training is going to come from your life in the prophetic. Now, read the word. If you have classes out there, take them. But I'm telling you, there's so many classes on YouTube and Facebook. I mean, you can go to YouTube University, but really none of that is going to make you be a prophet. Either you were called or you aren't, right? Your life, my life, is what has trained me in accuracy. My life. Even when I look back at the word of the Lord for November, and I look back at some of the things that happened, that are happening now, that God spoke about clemency. I didn't even know about the guy in Oklahoma, right? I didn't even know about that because I don't watch the news. He talked about clemency. He talked about there was a historical thing. He said there was going to be historical cases that were overturned. There were 2 historical cases that were overturned. One guy who is the reason why they made the law concerning, like, some of the laws concerning children, youth being put in jail. He got out. He spent 58 years in jail, and he was out today or yesterday. The people who were accused of killing Malcolm X, 2 men were acquitted 2 days ago. We see that, even though I don't agree with this Kyle guy being let out, but let off. That just was so whack. But anyway, that's another story. What I was saying in the word is that I hear that there's going to be many people let out of prison, and also let off the hook concerning this. And then historical cases would be overturned. That was just a random prophetic utterance, I'm telling you. And nobody trained me to do that. Now, Ruth, my mentor, who did mentor me in the beginning, she did help me with like prophetic prayer, teaching me that. But I'm going to tell you, after 2 years, she told me there's nothing else I can teach you. Like, your life is about to train you. And so I'll tell you this, woman of God, your life is going to train you. But I pray that the Lord sends you somebody to walk alongside of you who will not pervert the gift, who will help to uplift the gift and help you to learn and the word to teach you, and that you wouldn't get off into any mixture or anything, any kind of what we call prophetic divination, because there's a lot of people who operate in prophecy these days who are strong divinators. And so I just pray that the Lord continues to keep you pure in your gift and in your anointing, and just know that your life is going to train you. Amen. Okay, somebody said, I don't know what affiliate marketing is. Affiliate marketing is where you are an affiliate. You're somebody who is affiliated with the company, and you get paid to get people to register to that company. So sometimes they pay you like $5, $10. Like, you can see it on Cash App. There's like, if you get people to sign up to Cash App, we'll give you $10 per person. So like, it could be for any business. Most businesses do it now, because most businesses realize that people are their biggest resource. Human resource is their resource, right? Instead of paying Facebook ads and all that, they'll pay a person to get people to register to the company. Yeah. All right. So How do you feel about scaling a spouse's business before launching? How do you feel about scaling a spouse before launching, building my own? God has given me so many ideas last year and I came close to launching. I held back and began to help my spouse. Yeah, so I sort of did that too, right? So the nonprofit, my husband actually runs one of the programs. And so he's such a leader. He's so strong in that element. I'm not strong in that. Like he's stronger in leading than me, like logistics. And so I know that for him to grow, it's for me to grow. And so definitely I believe in helping your husband or your wife to scale, because a win for him is a win for me. And vice versa, it's a win for you as well. All right. Okay. She said, any tips for finding the motivation to write another book? Going through grief right now and I'm frustrated and not inspired to write. I heard the phrase before, if you have writer's block, you're trying too hard. And it might not be time to write that book, right? So if you have writer's block, you're trying too hard. And sometimes it's okay, Salithia, to sit down and just sit down and not do anything at all. I was looking at something that I wrote when my mom passed away. And I said, during the deepest times, I got this from the guy who wrote The Purpose Driven Life. And he said, during my deepest times of grief, I just sat there sometimes, not to be engrossed in grief. I recommend a grief counselor. I'm actually bringing on one on Tuesday. I've been doing this November Heal thing where I'm bringing on, different people to talk about healing and deliverance. And she's going to talk about grief. And so I hope you join us for that, because that's going to really help you. And sometimes it's okay just to sit and not even process for that moment. And but I do recommend seeing a grief counselor, and then the writing will just come. And sometimes it will stall, but it's the ebb and flow of life. Don't force yourself to write in the midst of grief. I would say see a counselor and then see what happens. Okay. All righty. All right. So somebody said, are there any entrepreneur contracts? Yes, there's so many contracts. There's so many contracts for entrepreneurship. Just Google it, you guys. And I don't know what you guys are doing on a Friday. It's like 600 of you guys on here. I'm like, what are you doing on a Friday? All right. So yes. So my prayer, you guys, is that you don't get stuck in what other people are doing. You don't get stuck in what you're not doing. Just launch something, come up with something for the next 2 months. We have 1 month actually. Launch something. All right. Launch something. Hashtag launch something. It could be anything. It could be a bar of soap. Okay. It could be anything. You could be sell your clothes that you have too many of on McCary or eBay. All right. Do something. And I believe that the Lord is going to motivate you to do so. And don't get caught up in numbers. The fact that you launched something is better than nothing. All right. And guess what? I think I'm going to do something in Dallas around Christmas time. So stay tuned. Nothing like prophetic, even though I'm very prophetic, but just like a Christmas gathering, like a sing along, because I love Christmas songs. So launch something, you guys. All right. I love you guys so much. And I will be back Tuesday. Have a happy Friday. Go do something with your family. I would like to try ice skating one of these days. I am coming to Atlanta. I'm going to do my birthday in Atlanta. I'm going to do a gathering on my birthday weekend, my 40th birthday. So it's going to be April 8th through 10th. All Things Her will be in Atlanta. I'm going to do a prophetic gathering in the beginning of the year. It's going to be in Dallas again. So, yeah. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys soon. Launch something. Bye.